I audible to everyone? Please respond. Can you all hear me? Okay, so should we start the session? So today I'm going to discuss XAT 2012. Session 8. Okay, I'm discussing all the questions at once. So there are 25 questions. Alright. For these 25 questions, I'm going to give you exactly how many minutes. 50 minutes is sufficient. Okay, 1 hour. At the max, you can spend 55 minutes would be more than sufficient. So your time starts right now 9 o'clock. So you can say 9 to 9:55. Right now the time is 9 to 9:55, and after 5 minutes I will start with the poll at 9:55 for next 5 minutes. So you have got in total 1 hour. I have given you the privileges. Please check whether you all have got the privileges. Yes. So you all can start. Please start. I'm going to mute myself for the next 50 minutes. Okay. So you all can start attempting all the questions. Just a minute. Okay. Please start. Okay, so should we start with the discussion now? Please tell me, all of you. So let's start with the first question, question number 1 and 2. Just give me a second. All right. Question number 1 and 2. So let me read it quickly here. It says to the chairman, dear Dr. Mr. Salis, at the December 3, 2011 meeting, it was decided that no two officers could hold positions on the same committee. It has recently come to my attention that both Chaitanya Rao and Ajit serving will be serving in some capacity on cultural committee, and both have been now. They will be serving in some capacity on the culture committee, and both have been nominated for officer status. Now remember, both of them has been only nominated. They are still not the officers. Okay? Only they have been nominated. Nomination doesn't mean that they are actually the officers. As you know, this is in direct disregard for the rules as voted by the member council. I would hope that sufficient action be taken by the disciplinary committee, on which committee both of the above are members, so that the problem will be limited. Sincerely, Arvind Singh. Okay. So there are 2 questions followed by this one. Each of the question is of 1 marker each. All right. So here for question number 1, 68% of you had said option 4. Yes, that's the correct answer. It says, which of the following is an essential flaw that the writer of the letter overlooked? The flaw here is that the Rao and Ajit are yet to be confirmed as officers. So 68% of you have got it right. Okay, 68% of you have got it right. Some of you have, okay, marked as 1, 2, and 3, and 5. Rao and Ajit are already serving together on the disciplinary committee. Any doubts to anyone? Because it has been given in the questions that they have been nominated. Okay, na? They have not been confirmed as the officer. So abhi to koi actions lene ka koi, it doesn't make any sense. So that's why the answer is option number 4. Good. Can I move to the next question? If anyone has any doubts, please ask me in any of the options. Okay. Now, question number 2. Question number 2. If both the nominations are confirmed, which of the following exhaustively and reasonably describe actions that may appear in the near future? Okay, so here there are mixed options. 45% of you had marked option number E. So 45% of your mark option number E. So rest 55% of you are either wrong and this one. So 14%, and then I can say 23%, 0 and 0. So the correct answer is of course option number E. Okay. So guys, please keep on adding your marks also. 1 1 and the negative marking of 1 4. 1/4 of the allotted marks. If the question is of 2 marks, the negative mark is 0.5. तो ये लिखते जाना अपने इसको एक पेज. Okay, so later on I will show you what was the cutoff for this particular section in that particular. Okay. Now it says if both the nominations are confirmed, which of the following exhaustively and reasonably describe actions that may occur in the near future. Now if you look at the option number, now remember that both Rao and Ajit, they are already in a disciplinary committee. Okay. And if both their nominations are confirmed, they will be together on the 2 committees. Yes or no? Both the persons will be on part of 2 committees. So if you look at here in the option number 1, it says Ajit resigns his membership. Okay. Option number 3, Ajit resigns his committee, post on the cultural committee. Rao resigns his positions on the cultural committee. So basically what is happening in option number 1, 3 and 4, option number 1, 3 and 4, okay, as well as in fact 2, that either Rao or Ajit resigns his membership. So in all the first 4 options, it is actually nothing but it is biased towards only one of the employees. Okay? Why should Arvind resign his membership? Why not Rao? Okay, so first 4 options, nothing but they are actually biased towards only one person. Where in this one, 5th, it is not biased towards any one of them. Either Rao or Ajit resigns his position from the cultural committee and the other resigns his position on the disciplinary committee. So this is not a bias. In the rest first 4 of the options, they are biased towards only one person. Okay? So each of the persons should lead one committee. So that's why the answer is option number 5. Any doubts to anyone? Can I move to the next question? So I think the first set was easy. These 2 questions were easy, not a difficult one. Okay. Now let's move to question number 3. 3 to 5. Now it says due to increased competition, Ginger Automobiles, the Indian subsidiary of Paper Automobile, reported lower sales and profits. PAC expects its new model Limo, developed especially for value-conscious customer of India and China, could revive its fortune. In order to prevent customers from buying competing products, PAC announced the launch of Limo 6 months before the schedule. Due to unrest in its India's suppliers plant, delivery of essential components for its main plant was hampered, and hence it is decided to launch Limo in China as per the original plan. Within a short span of time, Limo captured 30% market share in China. Okay. So Limo captured 30% market share in China, which was 200% higher than the expected. So basically, we are talking about the market share, not the sales. Okay. For example, it might be possible they have expected something. They have expected that their market share will be 10%. Yes or no? Initially, they have expected that the market share will be 10%. But from the share of 10%, if it increases the 30% share, then only there is a jump of nothing, but that is 200%. Yes or no? You all agree with me? Okay. So initially, assumption was that the share is 10%, but it has moved to 30%. A jump of 200%. Indian customers who had looked forward to purchasing Limo was becoming increasingly unhappy to the non-availability of the Limo. The Ginger dealers are worried about loss of business from the customers who might switch to the cars. So I'm saying the passage is quite clear. Any doubts to anyone in any of these statements which has been given in the passage? No. Now let's start with the first one, question number 3. Question number 3, 45% of you had marked option number 1. Okay. So 45% of you had marked option number 1, then 0%, and then 9%, and then 23%, and then 5%. And rest of you have not marked the answers of any questions at all. Now, if you look at here, now in the passage, in the entire passage, okay, does it talk anything about the first and heavy? Please tell me whether anything has been mentioned regarding the 2 Chinese one, that is buffed and heavy. So if their market share has been increased to 30%, take a 30% market share is there, so they have eaten certain share of some other companies, but which company is that? Nothing has been mentioned here. Now it says in the Chinese market, Box and Heavy are competing models in Limo's target market. Take a, they are in target market. Due to increase in sales of Limo, does anywhere it has been given that the sales of Limo is increased by 200%? Okay. For the first of all, they have been launched completely new, and sales of Limo by 200%. No, the sales of Limo, no. Basically, the market share of Limo, what they have expected is 10%, and it has been actually the market share is 20%, 30%. So share of market share is actually. So whether the first statement is a correct one or is it a justifiably made? Please tell me, all of you. Pakka? So the first is not justified. So first is not justified. So the answer can't be option number 1, option number 5, and option number 3. Second says Buck and Lady were not desired by the customer due to their new features. Nothing has been. Whether it has been mentioned in the passage, anything about that? Again, no. Nothing has been mentioned. So the correct answer for this question is option number 4. Neither 1 nor 4. That is the correct. Any doubts to anyone? Can I move to the next question? Please tell me. Alright. Let's move to question number 4. It says unhappy customers will not only leave the company but also spread negative publicity about the company. Okay. The best way among the options below to this. This says 14%, then 59%, 5%, 0%, and 9%. The correct answer of this question is, of course, option number 2. Most of you have got it right. The answer is option number 2. Now, first option, 14% of your mark, which says suggest to customers to wait. Now, asking customers to wait will actually aggravate the problem. It might say, okay, why will customer wait? Is there any the point is, why should the customer wait? If they are not getting any benefit, if they have to wait for 5 or 6 months, so it's better that we should move to something else. They can buy. It might be possible that they can buy new cars, and once they move, they will switch to the other company. It might be possible that they will not come back. So the answer can't be option number 1. Clear? And if I'm talking about the option number 3, 4, 5, option 3 says suggest to pack to treat Indian and Chinese market equal. Okay, but does anywhere it is related with the customers? By just suggesting pack to the Indian and Chinese market equal, how it is going to be benefit customers? Promise the top management of pack. Suggest to the top management of pack. So option number 3, 4, 5. So that or these 3 options can be right away rejected because these 3 options not anywhere it is not related with the customer. Okay? Anyway, these 3 will not help the customer. So answer can't be 1, 3, 4, 5. So the best answer is option number. Any doubts to anyone? Please respond, all of you, quickly. Nihar, Atul, and me. Just keep responding. That is very important. Let's move to question number 5. 5 says, Mr. Murugan from Chennai experienced the comfort of Limo during his visit to China. He was willing to deposit an approximate price of Limo to buy the first available unit from Mr. Ahmed, a dealer in Kenya, known for fair dealing. Ginger Automobile is yet to announce the actual price and the process for allocation of the vehicles in order to maximize his cash flow. He needs to maximize the cash flow. The data which I am going to share with the result, that is 5%, 0, 9%, 68%, okay, and 5% and 0. So first says, collect the amount from Mr. Murugan. Later, when the delivery is delayed, blame it on PAC problems, okay, which is, I think, that is completely unfair. Because you are not informing Murugan about the delivery date as well as the expected date. You are just taking the money from the customer and you are not going to tell him, okay, that when it will be delivered or when it is expected date or delivery date or delivery issues only. So option number A is totally unfair. So it can't be the answer. Some of you mark option number 2 that, okay, collect 50% as an advance and remaining 50% after the confirmation of launch date by Premier Automobiles. But remember one thing, whenever any customer is buying anything, and it is paying the money, so it's your duty to inform them that when is the launch date and everything. So that way, this is not the best option. But if you look at it, option number 3, collect the amount Mr. Murugan is willing to deposit after clarifying that delivery is subject to the company policy. So in the very beginning, you are telling each and everything about the policy of the company. So you are not hiding any fact actually. So the best answer in this case is of course option number 3. Option number 4, we are aware. Let me highlight option number 3. Collect the amount Mr. Murugan is willing to deposit after clarifying that delivery is not collect the amount, but suggest to Mr. Murugan to write to Ginger Automobiles. That is right. But remember, he needs to maximize his cash flow. So if he needs to maximize his cash flow, so that's why option number 4 is not the best option. Is that clear? Whereas C is better than D because it maximizes the cash flow. Is that clear, money now? So the answer can't be option number 4 and 5. Collect the amount and transfer it instead of keeping it in his personal records. Again, technically it is wrong. So any doubts to anyone? How many of you have got all 3 correct from this set? 3, 4, 5. Man, okay, great. Rajesh. Good. So can I move to the next set? Now 6 to 9, usually every year you get one such setup like this in decision making, which is time consuming. They are easy but time consuming. So let me see how many of you got the correct answer. Actually, if you compile the entire data, so you will get this particular data. Okay, like all the information. So first of all, you need to prepare a complete table instead of going by option. So one of the ways you can complete the table initially. So if you complete the table initially, you will get this particular result. Okay, like this one. You can see. So Jamshedpur to Delhi, there are 2 trains and 3 flights, and then there is ITI. You don't know whether IT is a flight. So departure time, arrival time, leave home. Kitne baje latest they can leave home by what time, reach workplace earliest by what time, work finished earliest by what time, and then the total time. Okay? And similarly from Delhi to Jaipur, you need to calculate the total time. Okay? So ये तो calculate हो जाएगा ना for all of them. So again, it's a time consuming. It will take around, I think, around 8 to 10 minutes only to compile all these data. Okay, that what is the total duration, traveling duration from Jamshedpur to Delhi and Delhi to Jamshedpur. Can I move to the next slide? If you want to note it, you can note it down in your notebook. Or in any case, it will be uploaded. PPT will be uploaded. Once the class will finish within next 1 or 2 hours, it will be uploaded. So can I move to the next slide? So on the basis of this, once you complete this table, you will get the answer of all these questions directly. Okay. So like first is, if Tina, just a minute. The correct answer of this question is option number 2, which none of you have got it right. 0% of you have got it right. 68% of you have left this question, and rest of you have not. The correct answer is this one. Question number 7. The correct answer for question number 7 is option number, let me see, 5. Okay. Correct answer for question number 7 is option number 5. Right. Question number 8. The correct answer for question number 8 is also option number 5. Okay. And then question number 9. The correct answer for question number 9 is nothing but that is basically option number 1. So very few of you have attempted this question and got it right also. Most of you have left this question and ideally ये छोड़ देने वाला question था because it's a very good time. So does anyone want me to discuss this question in detail or can I move to the next one? You can all can extract the information in this way एक table बनेगी and after that you'll get the answer of all the questions. So it's a time consuming but not difficult. It's a time consuming I think. ठीक है? So should I move ahead? कर लोगे ये? वैसे एक्चुअल एग्जाम में तो इसे छोड़ के आने वाला है. Better to leave because of it. Now question number 10 to 15. That's a very interesting question. 10 to 15, a set of 6 questions here. It says, Technique group of industries has business in different sectors ranging from manufacturing, construction, films, farming and hotels. These different businesses operated as semi-independent units managed by the unit level managers. Technique management had an internal consultancy group called as Business Advisory Group, non-internally as BAD. This is on the lines of TAS. Whether anyone has heard about the TAS? Do you know it's a full form of TAS, TAS? That is Tata Administrative Services. Okay, so I think it is on the lines of that TAS. Now, Technique management had an internal consultancy group called as Business Advisory Group. The 15 experts in BAG were hired personally by Mr. Technique. The owner of Technique who wanted this core group of experts to help his organization grow fast without facing the typical growth. Most of them were specialists in fields like law, information technology, HRM, and operations management. Almost all of them had experience spanning decades in the industry. Whenever any of the units faced any significant problems, the unit level managers could put up a request for help to BAT. The problems range from installation of internal MIS system to financial advice related to the leasing of equipment to handling of employee grievances. Over a period of 20 years, Technique's revenue grew from rupees 100 crore to 10,000 crore, that is important, 100 crore to 10,000 crore, with guidance of BAT and due to Mr. Technique collaboration. So they are doing perfectly well initially, grew from 100 crore to 10,000 crore with the guidance of BAT and due to this. Given its reputation in the industry, many people wanted to start their careers in BAT. And remember, TAS may, if you get a job in TAS, a lot of TAS usually go to SPZAN, IMs also, as well as XAT also, and they pick the people directly from the campus. Given its reputation in the industry, many people wanted to start their careers in BAT. Often, young MBA fresh out of business school at that time. However, their applicants used to be rejected by Mr. Techniquewala, who had a preference, for people with extensive industry experience. Okay. Things changed after the unfortunate demise of Mr. Techniquewala. His daughter, Miss Techniquewala, took up with his family business. She was an MBA from one of the premier BA schools and was working in a different company when Mr. Techniquewala passed away. She preferred that BAT developed new ideas and therefore inducted freshly graduated MBAs from premier BA schools. She personally supervised the recruitment and selection process. Now the entire group consisted of 50 specialists, out of which 35 are old timers and 15 are new. She also changed the reporting relationship in the BAT group, with some of the older members being made to report to the new. In IT team, Mr. Shiv, a newly recruited MBA, was made in charge. For the older members, it was soft. However, as most of them were on the verge of retirement and it would be challenging to research for a new job while competing with a younger professor, they decided to stay. After 1 month, all business units were caught up in the ERP fever. This was an idea posed by Ms. Techniquewala, who needed to replace the old legacy system with latest ERP system integrating all the units of Technique. This was heavily influenced by her experience in her previous organization, where an ERP system was already up and running. Therefore, she was not aware of the difference between installing and working on already installed. The ERP implementation in Technique Group required extensive coordination with senior level manager of all units. So it required extensive coordination with senior level manager of all units It means basically all these departments. And it represented an extra work for those who are in. This coordination was required to understand the different work process and the users. To understand the different work process and the users. This coordination activity was being extensively managed by the old timers. They are extensively managed by the old timers as they are familiar with the internal process and the people in different ways. An external consultant was also hired. So it has been also hired for customization and implementation. After 2 months, BAG team had to fortnightly present their progress to Ms. Technicol's team. In the last meeting, Ms. Technical was dissatisfied. She explained her thinking that since ERP impacted every aspect of business, the rollout had to be done faster. She wanted Mr. C to get the implementation completed ahead of the scene. In the meeting, she asked Mr. C to get the people in the IT team to be more productive. Not willing to disagree, Mr. C committed to a rollout schedule of completed ERP schedule in 6 months instead of earlier 14 months. 8 months ka gap hai, remember. And also, whether Mr. C has consulted with anyone from the back team, that whether it can be achieved in 6 months, please tell me yes or no. He has not consulted with anyone from the back. Next day, Mr. Su presented the revised project milestone to back members. He told them that in order to meet the deadline, all the members are expected to work on the weekends till the completion of the project. Along with that, they were also expected to maintain their earlier standard of delivery, time, and quality for the normal troubleshooting and internal advisory. Mr. C also pointed out that his performance did not meet the expectation, could be subjected to a formal disciplinary action. Okay. काफी लंबा पैसेज था. अच्छा, एक पेज और. The meeting ended without any member commenting on suicide. Although Mr. C heard a lot of money in the problem. Over a week, he noticed that members seemed to avoid him. He had to make extra effort to get ideas from them. After a fortnight, he reviewed the attendance register and found that Mr. Lal, an old timer, had not come during the weekends and certain decisions were held up due to lack of inputs from Mr. Lal. He issued a written reprimand to Mr. Lal. He was speechless on this, but kept silent. It has been 3 days since the incident. Some of the senior members had put in requests for transfer to other business units. It was rumored that 4 senior legal experts had agreed to an offer from a law firm. Other senior members would sporadically come in late to work citing health reasons. Almost all senior members now wanted a weekly work routine to be prepared and give them in advance so that they could deliver as per the schedule. This insistence on written communication was a problem as urgent problems or ad hoc requests could not foresee the implementation. Also, normal services to other business were being unattended to and there were complaints from other agencies. Okay. So very, very long passage, which needs a lot of time, but not difficult to understand the passage. Let's go to the questions now. Question number 1. 41% of you had marked option number E. Okay. 41% of you had marked this. 41% of you have left this question. बाकी के लोगों का सबका गलत. So the correct answer for this question is, of course, option number 5. Okay, those who have got it wrong and left, let me explain it to them. Which of the following could have been a better response of Mr. C to Miss Technical request to reschedule the ERP? Now, I think the better response, because all these problems have arisen because he has not discussed, okay, because the date from 14 months it has been decreased to 8 months. So from 14 months it has been decreased to 8 months. And remember, there are 35 old timers are there, and all of them are not coordinating or not supporting Mr. C. So whenever you have to take a decision, if you have to set up a new deadline, so first of all, to set up a new deadline, he should discuss with the members, all the members, whether it can be achieved or not. He needs to make a plan. He needs to make a proper strategy. So that's why the answer should be option number 5. present the idea to GAG members and ask them to look at the feasibility of the entire plan, whether it can be actually achieved or not. Some of you had marked option number 1. Look at the industry best practices regarding fast tracking of ERP projects and then commit a new deadline. Like initially you say वो करना चाहिए था. He only looks at the new deadline option. Okay? So some of you, 2 of you had marked option A. So looking at the new deadline, but the point is how to achieve that deadline. That is very, very important. You cannot just, okay, like some of you might be doing like this one, okay, next sentence, okay, in next 2 days I'll finish the entire point. But कैसे करना है पूरे point को 2 दिन में complete किसी को नहीं पता. Just keep on setting the deadline and then extending the deadline. Actually, you should make a proper plan. कैसे, how to proceed this. Option number 2. Okay, now external consultant will only give you a professionally correct solution, but how to do it, how to implement that, वो तो कुछ नहीं कर सकते. So the answer is option number 5. None of you had marked option number 3 and 4. So any doubts to anyone now? Can I move to the next question? Anyone has doubt in any of the options? Please discuss with me. Question number 11. Question number 11, 45% of you had marked option number 5. 45% of you have left 0, 0, and 9, and 0. Okay. Which of the following can be identified as the immediate cause of the problem? Immediate cause of the problem. Okay. Immediate cause of the problem was, like we had discussed in the previous question, that Mr. Siu did not discuss his ideas with any of his team members. He has directly started working. Unilaterally, he has actually taken a decision or given a new deadline to Ms. Technical. So the correct answer is, of course, option number 5. There is no doubt. Discuss 3. Lack of information about what was happening in the ERP project. Okay, Rajendra, lack of information how to handle the ERP project. For that they have hired the consultant also. Na? Option number 3 is very, very ambiguous here. Now remember that Mr. Siu did discuss what needed to be done with the BAG members. Okay, so initially remember one thing, Rajendra here. Okay, Siu discussed what needed to be done with the BAG members. Okay, it was not the appointment of Mr. Siu that caused the problem. It was his manner of dealing with the project, the way in which he was dealing with the project. So lack of information तो कहीं भी नहीं चाहिए. Okay. Clear है? Any doubts now? And again in the passage, कहीं पे भी nowhere it has been mentioned that there was a lack of information of any infighting also. That's why we can get option. Clear, Rajendra? Can I move to the next question? पक्का चले आगे all of you. Question number 12. Question number 12. 50% of your mark option number B. Okay, 45%. So I think these 45% are the same people who have not even gone through the set completely. And rest of you are 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, and 5. How could Mr. Siu cope up with the situation now? Choose the best option, considering Mr. Siu's career could be stayed if the ERP project fails, and assuming that for carrying out the option, he has the necessary authority to do that. The correct answer for this question is, of course, option number the 4th option. Most of you are right. So I think most of you who have attempted this set got right. Now it says choose the best option. Option number 5 मैं पढ़ता हूँ लिखने. Just give me a time. Create a joint team. of old members and new members within BAT to take care of the ad hoc requirements. So basically, Rohit Chaudhary in option number 5, it is talking about only the ad hoc requirements. Okay? Ad hoc requirements. They would be socialized in outbound program. So last माइंडिंग में अभी तो टारगेट कंप्लीट हो ही नहीं रहा है और तुम उनको आउटबाउंड पे ले जाओगे. Target is not completing and now you want to waste a lot of time by going to the outbound program. ठीक है ना? So usually they need to do a work on the Saturday, Sunday. So that's why the answer comes to option number 5. Clear to all of you now? There are 2 points here only for ad hoc requirements as well as going to outbound programs. You can never achieve the project in time. So can I move to the next question? Now, it is like mountaineering. It's not necessary it has to be mountaineering. Any outbound program. Remember, any outbound program, you are actually wasting the time. Can I move to the next question? Question number 30. 32% of your mark, option B. 18% of your mark, option 5. And 50% of your mark, this question 0, 0. Of all the problems we faced in that, which of the following is neither discussed nor hinted at? Neither discussed nor hinted at. That is given in the. Okay. So the confusion is between 2 and 5. The correct answer for this question is option number 2. The inability of the younger members to work along with the older members of the band. ठीक है, ये कहीं भी पूरे पैराग्राफ में मेंशन नहीं है. Those were marked option number 4. Mr. Singh lack of understanding the sensitivities of the older member of the band. Yes, it has been mentioned and it has been hinted also. ठीक है. If you go to the last 2 paragraphs. 2 points. In the last 2 paragraphs, it has been actually hinted because he was not able to understand the problem of the old people. So from the last 2 paragraphs, you are getting a hint that the option number 5 is actually mentioned. Clear? D is not been mentioned in anywhere in any of the passages. So any doubts to anyone? Mr. Singh lack of understanding of the sensitivities of the older members, it is given in the last paragraph. Some of the senior members had to put in request for transfer to other business units. It was rumored that 2 senior legal experts are agreed to the work. So all the senior people have to request to transfer to business unit. We are moving to another level. Other senior members are coming very late, working, citing health problems. So basically, he did not understand that. So that has been mentioned. So any doubts to anyone? Can I move to the next question? 14. Says 36% of you are saying option 1, 5% of you are saying option 4, and 59% of you are. The correct answer for question number 14 is, of course, option number 1. So actually, this is not a difficult thing. This was a very easy. Most of you have attempted this question, got it right. After her father's demise, the best way Miss Technique Wali could have gone for dealing with BAG group happened. Of course, discuss, because remember these BAG members, because of this BAG members, the revenue has increased from 100 crore to 1000 crores in a certain amount of time. So if she had joined now, Miss Technique Wali, so ideally she should have met with all the employees of, or in fact all the BAG members, and she should have discussed with the members as to what their views were about the company and their ideas so that the company can grow. Fourth, you were saying, ask the unit managers about the performance of BAG group performance and productivity. After that, have a discussion with BAG members about the unit managers. अब unit managers से तुम BAG members के बारे में पूछोगे तो ये तो गलत है. That that will be slightly unfair. Sorry, because that is indirect approach. So ये तो नहीं हो सकता है. I think we have discussed similar type of the questions earlier also. That if anyone is at the higher level, so taking a feedback from the lower level employee is basically not. But in any case, how does it affect the company? Can I move to the next question? One more question from this side. किसी को doubt है कोटिंग में? Easy time. 15. The best thing is to gain a confidence of all the DAG members once he has joined, to understand everything about the company because they are very, very experienced. 15. It can be inferred from the above case that the implementation of an ERP package in an organization requires creation of a team that has. Okay. Question number 15. 14% of you have said this, 32% of you have said this, and 55% of you have left this question. Of course, a mixture of experienced employees, no, only young people, that is the assumption. Sufficient number of people who are networked with power stakeholders in the organization. Option number 4 and 5, if you look at it, option number 5 says people who have been involved with operations for a long time of duration. So, who are involved with the operations for a long time duration of time, along with the people who are aware of the latest ERP technology. But if you look at it at D is talking about the right amount of problems. So when I'm talking about the problem solvers, it means the problem solvers can be of all the departments, be it operations, be it finance, be it marketing. Because when you are implementing the ERP technology, all the people are going to work on everyone from each of the unit. They are going to work. So the correct answer for this question is actually option number 4. Or you can say that option number 5 is basically nothing. Can I say that option number 5 is a subset of option number 4? Yes or no? Because when I'm talking about the problem solver, in that problem solver with the operation, someone who has worked in the operation department for a long duration of time, that can be also included. Okay, so the correct answer is option number 4. So this, you have got it wrong, most of you. Otherwise, out of 6%, 5%, most of you have got it right. No, how can you say it is a generic 6? कहाँ पे given है that live operations? It says people who have been involved with operations for a long duration of time. So it's a confusing statement. So if it is a confusing statement, it's better that I should not mark this one. If there is a better option which is available in comparison to 5, I'll mark that particular option. So option number 4 is far, far better than option number 5. Now remember also, only the length of the time is not important. The length of experience is not important, but the type of the experience is more important. What type of experience that person has? Not only the length of the time. So can I move to the next set? So how many of you have got all 6 correct? We are talking about the ERP, implementation of ERP. So if you are talking about the implementation of the ERP, so ERP में what all things are needed? It depends upon only one person, only on the operations department or on all the departments. Tell me. First of all, you need to understand the requirements of the entire company in all the units. Because when you are going to implement the ERP, you are going to implement the ERP in all the departments or only in the operations department or only for one particular person who is making the ERP. So you need to understand the problems of all the units and departments. Okay. Can I move to the next question now? Any doubt? Okay. problem solver means what? Try to understand. Problem solver means what? The problem solver is like when you are saying people with the operations for a long duration of time, they are a problem solver who can solve the problem. That is the meaning of the problem solver. Problem solver का मतलब ये नहीं है कि 5 के क्वेश्चन जिसने सॉल्व कर लिया ये प्रॉब्लम सॉल्वर. Okay, problem solver means all the problems which is happening there. ठीक है, whenever there is regarding the implementation of the ERP, if there is any problem, so how to tackle that problem. ठीक है, we need a that person उस problem को कैसे solve करना है. Okay. Remember also one thing, मिस टेक्निक वाली, ठीक है, nor the SU, not the or impact, neither miss technique wali or SU or nor I can say external consultant was absolutely sure about the ERP technology. किसी को नहीं पता था ERP technology के बारे में. So meet the right kind of a problem solvers in that particular. No one knows about the ERP technology. कैसे implement करता है कैसे. Okay. Now 16 and 17 are very easy one. Let's discuss this. It says Vivekanand Memorial Allocation Competition (VMEC) in VPS has a history of 40 years. Apart from the Founders Day and Annual Day celebration, it is the most important event of the school. In recent times, due to increased popularity of the reality shows on television channels and for various other reasons, the allocation competition lost its appeal. Interest of both students and parents has been eroding over a period of time. To ensure sufficient audience, Mr. Ion, Head of English Department, introduced oral recitation for a junior section as a part of the event. 3 classes, each consisting of 40 students, get shortlisted for the final performance of the choral singing on the day of this one. Most of the parents and family members of these students attend the function to encourage them. This initiative increased the number of people attending the competition. Some teachers, that is the important thing, some teachers are unhappy with the emphasis given to a competition, since they are expected to present on the day of the competition, which normally happens on weekend to accommodate the work. Why the teachers were unhappy? Because they need to come on the weekend also. The teachers were not granted leave on day of the VMEC and they used to be unhappy regarding. Okay. Come to the point. Miss Sabina, the principal of VRS, is aware that some of her teachers are unhappy. She wants to be seen as a fair and just. Which option is the best one? She should. Okay, let me see the answer key. For question number 16, 41% one said this, 23% said this, 0, 0, and 0, and 36%. Now, here not. Okay. The correct answer for question number 16, Miss Sabina got an answer. Option number 41% of your budget. Look at that. Teachers were unhappy. Why? Because they need to come on the weekend, which is usually on off day. The first option, introduce separate music and dance competition in the same format as the education competition. ठीक है, ये तो कुछ भी नहीं है. It does not deal with the problem at all. Appropriately compensate those teachers who volunteer to come for the extra day. Yes, if anyone is coming on weekend, so they should be paid for that. So ये तो हो सकता है. ठीक है. Third, appoint a committee of teachers, parent, and management representatives to come up with a possible solution with the. Now, first of all, C is very impractical. Teachers, parents, and management. Calling all the teachers as well as the parents as well as the management at particular time, it's a very difficult thing. Why? Because it might be possible that the parents were not free on that particular day. If there are 100 of or maybe 200, 300 students are there, so it's possible that all the all the parents of 200 to 300 can come on that day and then discussing with all of them to set up a deadline. So that is impractical. So that is the reason that actual can't be option number 2. You need to find out the solution. So that's why the answer is option 2. Any doubt? Can I move to the next question? Easy tie. That was not a difficult one. Question number 17. Okay. Question number 17. It says 9, 45, 0, 0, 9, and 36. Okay. A group of unhappy teachers have come up with a list of action plans for the consideration of their colleagues. The action plans are listed. Exposing Mr. Ivan's intention behind the inclusion of the COVID-19. Conduct an open house discussion to voice the unhappiness and to identify possible solutions. Introduce music and dance competition in the same format as this. Demand compensation for damage. What is the problem? What is the issue? The issue is that the issue is not that everyone is ready to come to that one, but the point is they need to work on off day, some extra day. So Mr. Zakaria, one of the senior teachers and a well-wisher of BAPS, is asked to go through the action plans and main recommendation that benefits BPS community. Option number 1, Mr. Ivan intention behind the inclusion of coronary recitation. How is it going to help? Those who are thinking if you want. So do I need to include 1? What is the basic problem here? The problem is that the teachers attending school on a weekend. And the option number 1, it does not deal with this at all. So option number 1 to आना ही नहीं चाहिए. Okay. And since option number 1 नहीं आना चाहिए, so straight away I can reject almost all the सारे के सारे option reject होगा. तो एक ही option बचता है, that is option number 2. ठीक है. And वैसे भी that is justified. ठीक है. Conduct an open house discussion to gauge the unhappiness and to identify possible solutions. Because if the people are unhappy, teachers are unhappy, then it's our duty to know that why their employees are unhappy, and also to demand compensation for their work already. If they are working overtime on extra time, so this will be paid for that. So option number 2 and 4 is a good recommendation to deal with the problem of unhappy teachers. Any doubts to anyone? Can I move to the next question? How many of you have got both correct? Easy type, not a 18 to 20. Also a question which is good. Now, Dev Anand, CEO of a construction company, recently escaped a potentially fatal accident. Dev had failed to notice a red light while driving his car and attending to his road. His well-wishers advised him to get a suitable replacement for the previous driver Ram Singh, who had resigned 3 months back. Ram Singh was not just a driver, but also a trusted lieutenant for Dev. For the last 5 years, Ram used to interact with other drivers and gathered critical information that helped them successfully bidding for different contracts. His inputs also helped Dev to identify some dishonest employees and to retain crucial employees who were considering attractive offers from his competitors. Some of the senior employees did not like the influence of Ram and made it difficult for him to continue. Dev provided him an alternative job with one of his relatives. During the last 3 months, Dev has considered different candidates for the post. The background of these candidates are given. So you can go through the background. Sundar, Mani, Chintan, Bal Singh, Ketan, and Remark and everything. Can we move to the questions? Yes, सबने पढ़ लिया था. Depending upon the questions, we'll see which is needed. Dev is primarily looking for a stable. He is looking for a stable and trustworthy driver who can be suitable replacement for Ram. His family members do not want Dev to appoint a younger driver. Family members do not want Dev to appoint a younger driver, as most of them are inexperienced. Okay. Dev driver is an employee of the firm, and hence the appointment has to be routed through HR manager of the firm. The HR manager prefers to maintain parity among all employees of the firm. He also needs to ensure that the selection of a new driver does not lead to discontent among the senior employees. Okay. First question. Question number 18. From this perspective and taking into account the family concern, Mr. Day would like to have question number 18. 41% of you have marked option number 3, which is the correct answer. Now, 55% of you have left this question. ये तो करना चाहिए था. 55% of you have left this question. Only 5% of you have marked option number 2. Now, it is from his perspective, from whose perspective, Dev perspective, and taking into account the family, Mr. Dev. So, family and Dev. So, you need to think from the Dev's perspective and from the family's perspective. Now, family doesn't want any inexperienced driver and the Dev. So, if I say, look at the among Chintan and Bal Singh. देखो चिंतन के साथ क्या प्रॉब्लम है. Chintan age is 44, graduate, 20 years, okay, experience. Bal Singh 40, literate, ठीक है, more than 20 years, 20,000 per month, 50,000 per month, working as a driver for the last 1 year after losing his previous job of his state. He has been forced to take up this. Okay. Cousin of Ram Singh, ठीक है, substituted Ram as a Dev driver whenever Ram was on leave, currently working as a driver with Dev in India. Strongly recommended by Ram, his knowledge and contacts in the firm is as good as this one. So Rohit Chaudhary, now tell me one thing, ठीक है, who is more experienced, Chintan or Bal? Bal Singh, ठीक है. When it comes to driving, don't you think that the Chintan is actually he is an inexperienced driver? Because he was actually working as a stenographer, वो तो driver तो अभी एक साल से बना है. Okay, but sir, Chintan is like Ram only. कहाँ पे given है? Working as a driver for the last 1 year after losing his previous job of a stenographer, he has been forced to take up the job of a driver. मैं फिर से पढ़ता हूँ दूसरी बार. Working as a driver for the last 1 year after losing his previous job of a stenographer, he has been forced to take up a new job of driver. Where it has been mentioned? हाँ, कहाँ पे गिवन है उसके कॉन्ट्रैक्ट फॉर्म्स में, किसके लिए मेंशन है? आई थिंक ये बाल सिंह के लिए मेंशन है. हाँ, तो कैन द आंसर बी चिंतन? प्लीज टेल मी. You know, Bal Singh has a similar type of the contract, so that's why the answer can't be option number 2. It can't be Chintan. Clear? Any doubts to anyone now? Can I move to the next question? 19. For question number 19, 5%, 5%, 18%, 5%, 14%, and 59%. The correct answer for this question is 19. Option number 1. Just a minute. It says, in order to resolve, only 5% of you have got it right. In order to resolve the conflicting preference, one of Dev's friends suggested Dev, his family members, and the HR managers to identify their most and least preferred candidates. So, सबका मुझे most and least candidate, I need to identify their most and least preferred candidates without considering the concerns of the other system. First, Dev's most and least preferred candidates are Bal Singh and Chintan. चलो देखते हैं. First of all, Dev का most preferred. Dev की preference क्या थी? Someone who is similar to the Ram. So Bal and Chintan. We know according to Dev, the most preferred should be definitely Bal Singh. You all agree with me? According to Dev, the most preferred will be definitely Bal Singh. ठीक है? And least preferred. देखता हूँ Ketan, 38 years, 10 years, working as a temporary driver with the Dev's major competitor for the last 3 years. The competitor has offered Ketan service to Deo on a temporary basis. Ketan has also expressed his willingness to work on a long-term basis, provided he is given an annual increment of 500, which is responsible as per the market condition. Now, the problem with the Ketan is, of course, he should be least preferred. Why? Because just because he is getting rupees 500, so he is leaving his competitor or उसके पास run कर लेगा. Let's say if some other competitor is offering him a higher salary, then he will join that particular competitor. Whereas Bal Singh needed a trusted people, someone to whom he can trust, a loyal person, loyal to the company. So that's why Ketan should be the least preferred. Clear? Any doubts, anyone? Okay, because since he is working for the competitor, already competitor work, so maybe he is also divided between the duties of loyalties to the competitor and towards this particular new company. So I hope that you all agree with me that first is the correct one. Any doubt? Okay. Second statement. Family members most and least preferred. Family के according Bal Singh and Chintan Singh. Okay. Let's go. Family members need someone who is a very, very experienced driver. Yes or no? Family members' requirements are that appoint a young driver, most of them are inexperienced. So, as per the family member, Chintan is the eldest one. Yes or no? Okay. And least preferred more than 1 year of experience. Okay. Okay. 7 years of driving experience. So again, इसमें ऑप्शन में क्या चाहिए आपको? Bal Singh and Chintan Singh respectively. Bal Singh and Chintan respectively. Chintan is the least preferred driver. It has been mentioned. But I think, can Chintan be the least preferred driver? Or money is the least preferred driver? क्या होना चाहिए? Chintan or money least कौन सा होना चाहिए as per the family members who is the least preferred driver? Because money says claims to have more than 1 year of experience but can't provide any certificate to substantiate it. ठीक है? So I think the least preferred, because he needs someone who is a very experienced. So of course money is very inexperienced. So money should be least preferred. So that's why the statement number 2 is the wrong statement. Clear है सबको? So that's why the answer is option number 1. Because in rest all of them either 2 is mentioned. So 2 नहीं है, 3 is also wrong. So can I move to the next question? कहाँ है उसका सर्टिफिकेट ही नहीं है, प्रूफ कैसे करोगे? आज तुम आके बोलते हो, यू गो टू द इंटरव्यू पैनलिस्ट, ठीक है, IIM से कॉल आ जाती है, and if you're going for the interview and saying that you had a work case of 1 year, so do you need to show the certificate or not? More than 1 का नहीं था तो मतलब नहीं था ना, he's not experienced one. It's not the, इसके पास कोई सर्टिफिकेट ही नहीं है. He claims to have more than 1 years of success. More than 1 years of experience. So he claims to have more than 1 year of experience. So does it mean that he had actually more than 1 year experience? Just think in this way, that is, whenever you are applying to the any IIMs or any of the forms, you need to mention a work ex. So despite the fact some of you are not working, so क्या जो time duration जो gap रहता है after the college क्या उसे भी तुम work ex में count करते हो? You always need to give a work ex. So 18th done, 19th done, 20th. Who among the following 5 candidates most likely to be rejected by XAT? So I need to find out the least preferred by XAT. Okay, least preferred by XAT. I think the answer should be ये तो option number 3 होना चाहिए, Bal Singh. Yes or no? The correct answer is definitely option number 2. There is no point of discussion. Any doubts to anyone? Only 23% of you have got it right. 23%. Next three questions, it is the toughest question. I say leave this question. This question ko padh ke, and after seeing the question, it's better to leave because it's a very, very confusing. So this set you should have completely left. It's a very, very confusing set. Yes or no? Though I'll discuss this set, I'll tell you my perspective. I'll tell you the answers from my perspective, but still, I'll say it's better to leave. 24 and 25 discuss करता हूँ, and then I can say come back to the questions. It says, देखो कितने लोगों ने अटेंड किया था 21, 22, 23. What if you have tried? छोड़ने वाला क्वेश्चन था, very confusing. Now let's see 24 and 25. Sarar company is operating in 7 northeastern states of the country. The organization has a history of participative decision making, wherein people deliberately open about the pros and cons of every important decision and the broad consensus is taken before taking the final decision. What is this process known as? Can anyone tell me? This process को क्या कहते हैं? Lot of these schools do this type of activities. That is known as the war room. Mahindra war room, Mahindra sponsors in some of the B schools, wherein you can simply start telling the pros and cons of each and every person. जितनी बुराई करना चाहते हो उतनी बुराई कर सकते हो for each and every. In Sarar company, every employee gets a salary promotion to the sales section. Salary promotion to the sales section. A new general manager joined during the beginning of this month and challenged the organization's sole practice on sales of determination. He urged the top management to introduce 2 more additional parameters. Okay? The parameters are collection of information and the quality of relationship with the retailers and the sales. Okay? Yes. Any doubts, Rohit Chaudhary? Person means what? What is the doubt? Manohar, the highest earning employee. So Manohar is the highest earning employee because his sales was the highest. For the last 2 years, vehemently opposes the GM proposal. So he is opposing the GM proposal. Which of the following could be the most likely reason for him to oppose? वो क्यों oppose कर सकता है? Okay, let's see. So he is opposing right now. So I think, in my opinion, the correct answer should be, let's see, क्या आंसर मार्क किया है some of you. 14%, 0%, 18%, 0%, 18%, and 50% of your. Now remember, company pays only on the basis of sales performance as of now, and Manohar is the highest paid, so it means he's very, very good in sales. Okay, now there are 2 more criteria are there. So if there are 2 more criteria are there, and he has started vehemently opposing this GM proposal, so what can be the reason? One of the reasons is probably it might be possible that he is not good in these 2 things, or maybe he needs to work harder to earn that. Yes or no? So if you look at it, he considered the proposal as a serious threat to his favorable position in Sarar company. Option number, favorable position. What do you mean by the term favorable position? That is very extreme also, you can say. He is not interested in collecting the information regarding competitors. No clarity regarding the relative importance of the 3 parameters. Okay, that might be the reason. No clarity regarding the relative importance, but he had just started proposing it. अभी ये introduction हुआ कि okay, that these are the criteria, or these 3 criteria, the people will be just okay. He started opposing it. What he could have done, that probably he might have asked with the GM, okay, that what is the importance of these 3 parameters. So the best option is nothing. That is option number 5. He may needs to work harder to earn the highest salary. That is the correct answer. Relative importance, it can be told to them. but he has just started opposing without giving any particular reason. So answer is this. Okay. Of course, he's a hardworking. ठीक है, but he's a hardworking. No, I know a lot of people. ठीक है, they can achieve the sales target within a 2 to 3 days. बाकी के 28 दिन बस घर पे आराम से सोते रहते हैं. So highest earning doesn't mean that he's a hardworking. ठीक है. Now option number 3 got no clarity regarding the relative importance of the three. ठीक है. So it is basically nothing but it is a reason for demanding the clarity on the proposal. You could have marked the answer in option number 3 if we want to gain some information regarding the clarity of the proposal, but he has just started opposing it. So he should have asked for the clarity of the proposal. He is not asking for that also. He just started opposing it. Okay. So C हो सकता था, but since E is present, so E is the better option in my opinion. क्योंकि अब उसे और ज्यादा मेहनत तो करनी पड़ेगी ना. Okay, can I move to the next question? Maybe it might be possible that the company will tell them later on, okay, what are the parameters, but उसे तो discuss करना चाहिए. 24. The top management of Saral company refused to implement the proposal of a new GM from the beginning of the next month. Refused to implement the proposal of a new GM. Which of the following could be the most justified reason for that? Okay, they are not implementing this. Question number 25, 0%, 9%, 0%, 14%, and 30%, and 45%. Okay, the correct answer for this question is 25th is option number 5. Which of the following could be the most justified reason? Some of you have marked option number 2. To avoid attracting criticism for their failure to implement a similar scheme. Management will not give importance to this year. Also, the GM is new to the organization. He will require some time to implement the new plan. I think even in fact in option number 5 will actually cover the point of option number 2 and option number 4 also. Don't you think so? The top management would need time to deliberate and get consensus. Then only after that they can implement. Consensus कैसे आएगा? Probably they will discuss all these things. What can be the possible criticism and everything. So the answer is option number 5. Because if they are delaying it for a month, एक महीने के लिए delay कर रहे हैं. तो एक महीने के लिए delay कर रहे हैं, so to avoid attracting criticism for their failure to implement, तब तो उसके लिए क्या है? Implement तो तुरंत भी कर सकते थे. इसके लिए एक महीने delay करने की क्या जरूरत है? After delaying for 1 minute and then implement करो, फिर उसका failure होगा, फिर criticism. It doesn't make any sense. Any doubts to anyone now? Can I move to the last 3 questions? Ethics and moral wala. So whether all of you had calculated your score for these 22 questions? Yes. Let's discuss those 3 questions and then in that. Now again it's a very, very confusing set. I didn't to be left, but I will discuss it from my perspective. What ethical? A person is called unethical when he deviates from a principle. The principle and their often moral. The definition of moral is society code for individual survival, and ethics is individual code for society. Naresh was a small-time civil contractor in small city. His major clients were the residents who wanted ad hoc work like painting, building extension to be done. He just price had made him preferred contractor for most of the clients who preferred him over others. Always he followed the principle that the client had to be kept happy only by doing so. However, due to unpredictability of such order from residents, Naresh used to be idle for a substantial part of the year. As a consequence, he could not expand his business. His 2 children were growing up, and his existing business could not support their expenses. The medical expenses of his elderly parents were another drain on his resources. The constant rise of price in medical care and medicines was another issue. For Naresh, family concern was critical. Naresh was therefore under pressure to expand his business. He was the sole earning member of his family and he had to ensure their well-being. He thought that by expanding his business, not only would he be able to care for a family in a better way, as well as employment to more number of masons and laborers. That would benefit their families as well. That would benefit their families as well. Naresh drew the boundary of his society. He drew the boundary of his society to include himself and his family member, his employees and their families. Okay. For expansion, the only option in the city was to enlist as a contractor for government work. Before deciding, he sought advice from another contractor, Sri Kumar, who had been working on government projects for a long period of time. Sri Kumar followed the principle of always helping others. Sri Kumar always help others because he believed that he would be helped back in return someday. Sri Kumar had just one advice: the work is given to those who will bring the bidding process and at the same time will give the maximum time. Price quoted for work have to include price, else the bill will not get clear, and the supervisors will find multiple. When asked about the contractors, Sri Kumar said, the government contractors are like a micro society, and the contractors are like a micro society in themselves, almost like a rebel. Within that, they are highly competitive. However, what's in external threat, they are they are united to ensure no harm happens to any of them. So there are two persons we are talking about. One of them is Naresh. Who is the Naresh society? Can I say Naresh society is actually confined to family members and his employees? Yes or no? Yahi hai na? Okay, because it has been given, he has been restricted to this. Now, when it comes to Sri Kumar, what is the Sri Kumar society? As per the definition taken, Sri Kumar thinks only about the government contractor. So for him, the society is nothing but the contract. Though they are very competitive among themselves, but whenever there is any issue, they always try to help each other. Okay? And their members. So these are the two things. Let's come to the question. Naresh decided to work as a government. Following Sri Kumar advice, he inflated the price so that he could pay the bill. Now, as we have discussed, for Naresh, his society is his family members and employees. So whatever he is doing for them. Yes or no? If he is inflating the price and paying a bribe, so children, he should be able to pay the bill of their parents as well as his children can go to the good schools as well as he can take care of their employees, his employees. So as per the definition of ethics, if someone ethics की definition क्या है? Society code or individual code. That is individual code. Yes or no? Ethics definition. So can you say he is actually following his individual code here? Yes or no? He is following his individual code. So as per the definition, since he is following his individual code, so the answer of this question should be, now tell me, क्या होना चाहिए? He is following the individual code. So the correct answer for this question is, of course, option number 5. That is, Naresh is being totally ethical because he is following his code, so that he is following his individual code such that his society can survive, and his society is nothing but family members and the employees. So that's why the correct answer is this option number 5. Here, how many of you have got it right? Option number 5. 0% of you have got it right. Okay. Not an issue. Like I told you, it's a very, very confusing one. It's better to do. So you need to mark your answers as per only this, in this particular set of information which is given in the past, not your own information. Can I move to the next question? 22. A new supervisor has joined a government department where both Naresh and Sri Kumar were bidding for the work. During the bidding process for a particular project in an open meeting with all contractors and officers from the department, he produced a document which had the rate at which Naresh had worked for a private client for a similar building project. He accused Naresh and Sri Kumar of overpricing for government work and threatened to disqualify. Naresh gave a written reply that I use material of inferior quality for private work and that is the reason for the price difference. Sri Kumar supported Naresh. So Sri Kumar supported Naresh in the meeting by saying that he had seen Naresh work and he agreed. In this situation, it can be concluded that okay, basically in both all the officers it is talking about the ethics here. So like in the previous questions, we have already discussed that the Naresh is an ethical. Whatever he is doing, ठीक है, hiking the price is ethical. So Naresh so ethical है, yes or no? So answer can't be the option number 1, as we have discussed in the previous. 1 and 2 नहीं हो सकता है, ठीक है? And option number 5 भी नहीं हो सकता है, 3 and 4. It says Sri Kumar is ethical. What is Sri Kumar? ठीक है, ethical की definition क्या है? Individual good for the society survival. And for Sri Kumar, the society is nothing but the contractors. He always tries to help them. Okay, so he is supporting actually here, Naresh. So he is also ethical. So that's why the answer is nothing but option number 3. Because for Sri Kumar, the society is nothing but all the contractors. And he has always supported them. ठीक है, so इसके लिए ये ethical है. Is that clear? Again, 24, 20, question number 22. 0% of you have got it right. Can I move to the next question? 24. It says, Lankawala, another contractor who faced with a new supervisor demand to reduce prices for the government work, asked him to guarantee that no bribes would be taken and only the prices would be reduced. This was said in front of everyone. At this, the supervisor forced Lankawala out of the meeting and threatened to blacklist him. Lankawala did not say anything and walked away. Blacklisting of a contractor. Now, remember one thing. Blacklisting of a contractor by one government department implies that Lankawala would not be able to participate in any government department. In late evening, the city was abuzz with the news that supervisor dead body was seen on the railway tracks. In the investigation that followed, no one who attended the meeting recounted the happening in the meeting to the police. Getting involved in the murder cases could lead to an unpredictable outcome such as becoming the potential suspect or an accessory to the crime. Furthermore, cases could drag for years and one could have to appear in the court or as witness in response to court summons. This, for a contractor, was a serious threat to his business. So, for a contractor, it is a very serious threat to business due to the disruption created. However, Naresh wanted to speak what but was pressurized. Naresh wanted to speak but was pressurized by Sri Kumar and other contractors not to, and as a result, he did not. Due to this, the case was closed. Now, what is the definition of morality? Because in this question, it is talking about morality. The definition of morality is nothing but society's code. Morality is nothing but society's code. For individual survival. Individual survival. And what is the society code here? That they should not discuss all these things with the law. That is the society code. Otherwise, everyone will be in a problem. So, I think the answer for this question should be option number 4. Other contractors were moral and they prevented Naresh from being. Because everyone is thinking, all the contractors in this case, they are thinking about the survival of a individual of that particular society. So you can say other contractors are moral and they prevented Naresh from being. How many of you have got this? 5% of you. So these 3 questions were very confusing, very difficult, as well as very debatable. Ideally, to be left. Okay. So any doubts to anyone? Now calculate your scores, all of you. Will calculate your scores. The cutoff for this teacher in that particular year, in the year 2012, if I'm talking about the year 2012, the percentile was, I think, for HR. Okay, HR it was 90 percentile. For BA it was 70 percentile. Okay, so for HR it was 90 percentile, and for not 70, but for BA it was 80 percentile. Okay. HR the cutoff was 8 marks, and for BM the cutoff 80 percentile one can achieve at 6.25. That was the cutoff. So how many of you are able to clear the cutoff? Okay. Good. 9.25 is a good score then. 7 Rajesh, come मैं थोड़ा. Rajesh, you need to improve a lot. I have been observing from you from the last so many sessions. तुम्हारा thought process हमेशा थोड़ा different रहता है बाकी के लोगों से. ठीक है ना? So you need to improve a lot. Just keep practicing and keep listening to me जो मैं बोल रहा हूँ. वो सारी चीजें ध्यान में रखो so that whenever you are attempting a question, keep all these things in mind. Whatever we have discussed in the last couple of sessions. After that, discussion is good. सारी चीज ध्यान में रख के नेक्स्ट टाइम lot of you are able to. ठीक है. Okay. So a lot of you have got more than 12. So I can tell you also 12 पे कितने percentile आ गए I थी. At a score of 12.75, 99.4%. At a score of 12.75, 99.4%. Okay. At a score of 12.37, 99.04%. At a score of 12.375 RE, teacher can say 12.375. So 375 है, well, 99.2. At a score of 12, 98.92. At a score of 12, it is 98.92. So let's end the session. Any doubts, anything you want me to discuss? Okay. So tomorrow also we'll be doing a 3-hour session, 2.5 hours to 3 hours. It will take approximately. Okay. So good night to all of you, and we'll be meeting tomorrow. देखो क्वेश्चंस लाइक इनको निहार में कई बार बता चुका हूँ. क्वेश्चंस कितने क्वेश्चंस अटेम्प्ट करने चाहिए मेरे से कभी नहीं. If the question is same as this one, so I think there are few sets which you have left completely. ठीक है, I say probably this set ये 3 questions तो ये छोड़ दो out of these 23 questions, and there is a one question for 7, 18, around 15 questions you should have attempted. Yes, 18 were doable that time. 15 to 18 तो करने चाहिए. रेल एंड राइट वाला बहुत ही लेंदी था. 15 to 18 was doable. Okay guys, so good night to all of you. Yes, real and flight and ethics, ये दो सेट पे छोड़ देना चाहिए. बाकी you could have done.
Music